Hi, everybody. Spring is here, at least it's on its way in the UK. The daffodils are out, and in the season of spring, I get an extra energy, feeling I want to get things done. So energy as a speaker, I've often talked to you about, is really important, and mindfulness, that sort of awareness of where you are, what you need to recharge your batteries, and also forgiving yourself some of the mistakes that we all make. So I wanted to introduce you to my really good friend, Van Truong, who is here to talk to us a little bit about her area of specialism. And just to give a background, Van Truong is from Sydney, Australia. She's a psychologist, and she helps women that are full-time mums, but are also, well, full-time mums in the sense they want to commit to their family, but they also have a job. So she helps them with self-awareness, self-care, and self-compassion. And so I wanted to introduce you, and hi Van, it's really nice to have you here. And tell us a little bit, I haven't necessarily put them in the right order for you, but could you expand a little bit about the importance of those three elements for your mums first?
Thanks, Marianne. Thanks for having me on your, in your interview series. I think you're running several of these, aren't you?
I am, yes, it's fun.
Yes, I work with mums who are working, and they're wanting to be the best mums they can be, but they're short on time, they're short on energy, and they're sort of always pushing and getting tired, right? There's always risk of burning out. There's lots of anxiety about, are they good enough and things like that. So my job, when I get the opportunity, is to help people in those situations become more self-aware. So becoming more conscious of what's going on for them, whether it is anxiety about a particular situation or if it's more general. What's really important to them, because without being aware of what really matters to you, then it's very easy to get distracted and to be really busy but really not focused on what actually is of value to you. Okay. Now, with all of that awareness, the tendency is to pretty much freak out, because it's like you want everything, right? You want to be the best person that you can. You want to be doing a good job at work. You want to be the best parent possible, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of pressure on one person.
That's huge.
It pretty much, yeah. So self-compassion is really important, because if you can sort of empathize with yourself, if you can understand that you are trying the best that you can and doing the best job that you can under the circumstances with whatever resources you have, then it is good enough. And that's all we can ever really successfully aim for.
I love that.
Because perfection is just way too high a standard.
Yes.
And it's not realistic, is it?
It's not realistic.
It's more important to be really, no. And all that pressure we put on ourselves to be perfect is really going overboard. And in the process of doing that, we lose connection with what's important. And we're sort of always chasing something external. Whereas if we feel good enough, then we can be more present, and therefore more connected with our kids and with our partners and at work as well. And then, of course, the final piece. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to pause there
Yeah,
for you guys to say that's a really important point Van's just made, is that the more we're connected, and as speakers, the more we're connected with what's really important, and the less that we go for perfectionism, but just say, I am good enough, then we start to tune in and tune into our energy as speakers. That's a really important point. Thank you for that.
thank you. Yeah, and you speak of energy,
Yeah.
and for mums especially, it's really important to make sure that you have enough energy to do everything that you want to do, and to have enough energy to really invest in those areas of your life that you want to spend more time in, or to do more in. And so the energy comes from self-care. We really need to look after ourselves as a first priority.
Yes.
Because if we don't, we're going to burn out and we're going to run our batteries flat, right?
Yes.
Yes, and I've heard you talk about that in terms of speaking as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You very much need to bring that energy, and it seems counterintuitive. You're a busy mom with work, you're an entrepreneur, and you feel you've got to go all out and do your best, as you say, and yet actually starting by looking after yourself as a speaker brings that energy of the real you across to who you want to attract. So yeah, it's really important.
Yeah.
One thing with mums, have you got a particular age group of mums or that you tend to work with? Or
I tend to work with mums with children sort of who are in school. So
okay,
from about 5 or 6 onwards.
right.
Only because they tend to, the majority of them have either gone back to work already, and they've been trying to juggle all those different aspects of life, or they're considering it, and so they're sort of hesitating because they don't want to get it wrong.
Lovely. And
Yeah.
what sort of I know this is a very simplistic answer or question really, but what sort of results do you observe once the mums start to put a priority on themselves, on the self-care?
Well, firstly, the anxiety drops
Okay.
because they're not so worried about the outcome as much.
Yeah.
They're more present,
Yeah.
and so they're enjoying being with their kids, even through the challenging times. They're much more present and appreciating the opportunity to be there with their kids going through the mess, rather than missing out, right? And there's just less pressure to be working all the time, because they're connected. It's a more balanced way of looking at their life that helps to bring the anxiety down.
Wonderful.
They
Yeah.
put their work in its place in terms of it's important, but it's just as important as family, just as important as looking after themselves.
That's beautiful. And as a result, whether it's your kids, whether it's your audience, they get a better deal, or whether it's your employees or fellow colleagues. So I know that soon you're going to be, well, actually next week, you're running a challenge, Declutter Your Mind, which I'm very passionate about. So just tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so it's a 5-day challenge where I'll take you through some processes that will help you declutter your mind. So, we start with awareness. We need to know what's in our minds to start with. Just like when you've got a room that's quite full of things, right?
Yeah.
You need to know what's in there before you start clearing it. Otherwise, you might throw out something important.
That's so true. We forget, don't we? The message so often is just like, the more things you get, but actually the more things you get rid of isn't necessarily equates. That's really good. So you're going to start off with awareness. Is it something?
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted there.
No, you were going to ask a question.
Yeah, is it something that's fairly? It's a 5-day challenge. So is it something especially? It's aimed for busy mums, whether the busy mums are speakers as well, whether they're entrepreneurs, whether they're employed. Is this something then easy to implement? Is it in bite-sized pieces next week?
Yeah, yeah. So every day I'll be providing a very short video, so
Yeah,
less than 10 minutes long,
yeah,
with a brief explanation of what we're doing and then instructions on what we do. And then if you go through the exercises, it shouldn't take you more than about 15-20 minutes
perfect.
each day, which isn't huge, I
No,
don't think.
no, that's really, really doable. If
But it's a good start, I think, to sort of get to know what's going through your head, and to start being more discerning about what's in there, letting things go and keeping things.
Lovely, I love that. I love that. So, don't just think of a spring clean for the house, but let's have a nice freshen up for here and know that you are good enough and that you guys are special, just as you are, to sort of give you that little bit of energy, even though, and of course in Australia, you're coming up for autumn, aren't you? But that's just
Yeah,
as important. So
yes.
that's great.
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't do autumn cleaning, but it's just as important to sort of clear out and prepare for winter.
Yes, it's true. It's
Yeah,
true. Yes.
yeah,
And in
yeah.
fact, here, I remember my mother used to tell me that before Christmas was such, such a commercial thing, there was, it was
Oh,
so
yeah.
much hype about it, that actually it was very traditional in her family and families around to prepare by sort of cleaning the house, getting everything
Oh,
beautiful.
okay.
But there was a clean there as well. So yes, there we are. I think seasonal spring cleaning is a very good idea. Don't let the dust settle up here. I love it. I love it. Oh, that's great. Well, I'm certainly up for that challenge, and I'll put the details in the description. So it's been great talking. Is there any sort of final words of wisdom you'd like to share with us? Any thoughts?
I think the final thought would be just to keep things simple. I mean, the less you have to start with, the less you have to stress about, right?
Yes, love it. I love it. I can't think of a more perfect thing to close. Keep things simple. Oh, Fan, it's been a real pleasure to chat to you today. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being in your challenge. And anybody else is interested, the link is in the description. Thanks everybody for watching, and thank you, Van, for being part of our chat.